Hello, 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 boys and girls. Welcome to this video in which I am going to sort non-Harry Potter characters into Hogwarts houses. And this might be very interesting this time, as this video is planned to premiere on my birthday. I chose one of my own stories, and when it handles my birthday, then Star Story would be the best choice, since its main character, Wendika Lovejoy, is also having her birthday today. Well, that crap all out of the way. I regularly try to sort the characters I make up for my own stories into Hogwarts houses. And why do I do that? Basically, to force myself to think about my characters and to really get for myself a proper view on what direction I want them to go. And Rowling actually gave me a very handy kind of pointer in order to do this. I will, by the way, combine Star Story 1, the Goddess, and Star Story 2, the Virus Strikes Back, into one video, and that is because the non-playable characters have in the Star Story games not enough screen time to actually be eligible for sorting in videos like these. Of course, before I start sorting my characters, let's have a quick overview on the 4 founders of Hogwarts and on what characteristics their pupils are chosen. Well, let's go. Gryffindor picked his students for their bravery and chivalry. The dark side of Gryffindor is often considered to be arrogance. That being said, to compare some actual Harry Potter characters who were in Gryffindor, that are the most known one, the trio Harry, Ron, Hermione, Neville, Dumbledore, McGonagall. Well, it's a pretty long list. Slytherin chose his students most of all for determination, willing to break the rules if they have to, and cunning. The dark side of Slytherin is often concerned that the most of the criminals had studied at Slytherin. But it is very important to note that being sorted in Slytherin does not mean you are a bad person. There's more to it than that. Ravenclaw chose her students most of all based on intelligence and creativity. Wit beyond measure is a man's greatest treasure. Famous Ravenclaws are Phileas Flitwick, Luna Lovegood, and Cho Chang. The dark side of Ravenclaw is often considered to have a nerdy kind of people who actually know it all better, which can of course sometimes be annoying, I guess. And this time Hufflepuff, that's the last one. Hufflepuff would basically allow anyone who wouldn't fit in any of the other houses. Yet, qualities that Hufflepuff students are known for include hardworking, fairness, not feeling any more important than other people, a bit of the dark side of Hufflepuff is often considered that the pupils of Hufflepuff would be morons and sissies. It's basically famous Hufflepuff students include Pomona Sprout and Newt Scamander. And well, that covers all of the Hogwarts founders, so let's get the actual sorting on the road. Well, I will just handle the characters in order in which they are introduced in the game, and then of course Wendika Lovejoy is the first one. I sorted Wendika into Ravenclaw. Now, what is important to understand about Wendika is that she's partially a parody of myself. Some of her nasty characteristics are basically a bit of a satire of my own nasty characteristics, often prompting Crystal to say that Wendika shouldn't be so rude. Wendika is just a kind of no-nonsense girl. What you see is what you get. She hates taboos, just like me, and she always says what she has on the mind. However, she is very extremely intelligent. Technology holds no secrets for her, and even ancient technology, and that is ancient from Wendika's point of view, not from our point of view. You have to remember that the Star Story games both take place about 1000 years in the future. Star Story 1 takes place in the year 3000. And even ancient technology holds no really big secrets to Wendika. That really shows that she is very intelligent. She's also fluent in several alien languages, which also proves her intelligence. So she may be a bit lacking on the social aspect, which is also what Ravenclaw students are sometimes known by. So yeah, I couldn't go for any other house for her than Ravenclaw. Crystal McLean. Well, what can I say about Crystal? I sorted her into Hufflepuff. Although she really does show bravery when it really counts. She is rather more the social kind of girl. Much more subtle. Always willing to stand up for those who need it. What can I say more about her? She is very extremely loyal to her friends, and loyalty is known to be a characteristic that Hufflepuff prizes. She doesn't like to judge people, also very fitting for Hufflepuff, so yeah, where else could I have put her? Now these two characters, Sean Briggs and Exuru, will remain unsorted. Sean Briggs has too little screen time to come to a proper judgment, and I never worked out his character anyway. He's just a basic officer, and well, that's it. Exuru is merely an android programmed to protect Wendika, and the only reason that he protects her is because his programming tells him to, and that's all there is to him. So basically, I cannot sort him. Next. And then we get to Yerl, son of Astrolon. Well, that was might surprise you that I would put one of my own playable characters into this house, the house of Salazar Slytherin. He is very cunning. He always willing to bend the rules. the way he got the owner of the Hawk of the Century, the spaceship that you will be using in the game, is because he won it in a game of poker. Of course, his opponent dealt the cards, so he always claimed that he cannot be blamed for being dealt a royal flush. But of course, any poker player knows that the likeliness of getting a royal flush without cheating is pretty low. So it may be safe to assume that Earl cheated. Although I must say that he does have courage, but it is basically his cunning nature that that made him survive. And yeah, I really must say that that Slytherin will be the house for him to go. Foxy Firefox. That is one of the harder characters for me to sort. She just showed the loyalty of a Hufflepuff, but also the courage of a Gryffindor, and sometimes even the manipulating nature of Slytherin. Although I wouldn't say she's stupid, she can actually be pretty bright, but I don't deem her bright enough for Ravenclaw, so at least we can eliminate that one. In the end, I still decided to stick her in Gryffindor, but I cannot really motivate that. It is rather more a feeling that I have. Of course, she is a bit more in the happy-go-lucky kind of mode, and appears to take life most of all as a kind of a joke. But on the other hand, the same can be said for the Marauders and for Fred and George. They were in Gryffindor too. So yeah, it is a hard choice for me. Foxy would definitely be a headstall. But in the end, I think Gryffindor will have to do. Although Reggie is not a playable character, he tags along with the party for such a large portion of the game, and I decided to sort him too. And for Reggie, it was even harder for me to properly sort him. He is very intelligent, he lacks all kinds of manners. He does show bravery at times. Although his remarks are quite often insulting, even sexually insulting, I don't think I want to put him into Slytherin. In the end, he is very loyal and intelligent, and I'm actually surprised by this myself, but I think I'll stick with Ravenclaw. yeah, Ravenclaw it will be. Zenobi. Well, Zenobi is of course a Jedi Knight, and the Jedi Knights are a parody to the Jedi Knights. However, he does take his job seriously. He fights when he has to, but he prefers not to when he doesn't have to. He is very open-minded towards Crystal. He was a bit shocked by Wendika's sometimes tactless behavior, but he does quickly accept her when he is told by Crystal what kind of girl Wendika really is. He's not really too judging. Yeah, in the end I decided that he would be a very good student to study in Hufflepuff. Rolf van den Broek. Of course, he enters the game as the boyfriend of Sue McCloud. And speaking of Sue, she's not a playable character. She has too little screen time to come to proper judgment, but as she is basically a loyal, hardworking girl, I placed her into Hufflepuff. And the same actually goes for her boyfriend. He is a no-nonsense kind of guy, but he is hardworking. He knows how to handle an over-enthusiastic girl like Sue. He's also not very judging about Bendica and Crystal. Although he sucks in mastering the English language, he still tries to be as open-minded as he can to the rest of the crew. So, in the end, he is just a hard-working guy, doing what he has to do, strong sense of duty. It is just clearly Hufflepuff. Gavida Claret, Ravenclaw. She is a scientist, a virologist, and really she belongs to the best of the best. She is really intelligent when it comes to medical science, and most of all when it comes to virology or microbiology in general. She does have, of course, the weaker side in her intelligence, as she doesn't believe in the conspiracy theories that are going around, which do turn out to be true. But in the end, she does have the courage to face it when she's really proven wrong. But yet, her courage is not really what sets her apart. In the end, it is really her devotion to science and the intelligence to work things out and even to do things that many of her colleagues deemed impossible to do. A nice side note about Gavida Claret, both Star Story 1 and Star Story 2 have a secret way to travel to the world of Phantasar, the world on which my fantasy stories take place. And Claret is deemed a fan of mine, which was just a way to advertise myself. But what is nice to note about Claret is that she is actually fluent in the language of Phantasar, which shows that aside from microbiology, she also has a knack for languages, which also evidences her intelligence. So yeah, what other house could I go for than the house of Rowena Ravenclaw? Berindo Yorno. What can I say about Yorno? He is, although I cannot say that he isn't courageous, although he does not really seem to be the courageous type at first, he too is basically dependent on his brain, as he is, of course, a scientist. He is the assistant of Claret. Although Claret may be better than he is, I still stick with the house of Rowena Ravenclaw. As intelligence is actually the core of how he gets through life. Dr. Salapedrita is, yeah, a very easy go. That can only be the house of Helga Hufflepuff. I mean, he is merely a medic devoted to his work, and that's basically it. Although it should be said that Ashley, who is deemed an impossible kind of girl to handle, I mean, Ashley is rather infamous for driving her teachers to madness during her time at the academy. But I will tell you more about her later, as she is the next and final character to be sorted. But the fact that he can handle her is just showing how socially open-minded he is, which is exactly one of the traits that Hufflepuff prizes most. So he is really the kind of man is in his case a bit hard to say, as he is really genderless, but hey, he's an alien, he's not human, so that has nothing to do with my views on the woke society. But he is very open-minded to other people's views and thoughts, and yeah, well, he basically takes in anybody and tries to get the best out of them. So yeah, that is really something that Helga Hufflepuff would also have done. So Dr. Salpetrita can only be sorted there. And of course Ashley Johnson, and those people who played both games, especially when they finished Star Story 1, will know that Ashley is the only character who is playable in both games. The reason why I put her last and not in 1 is because her role in 2 is larger, and I wanted to save this for last, not to give away spoilers too soon, but then again, in these kind of videos, spoiler alerts are in order anyway. Ashley is in Star Story 1, of course, an old woman with the rank of Admiral. Star Story 2 is when Ashley tells the story of how she guarded Gavida Claret as a security guard during her first mission when she was an 18 years old girl. I can only go for one house as far as Ashley is concerned, and that is the house of Godric Gryffindor. She's pretty big-mouthed, and you can wonder if that is a kind of arrogance, but at the same time it's also a kind of courage. She dares to ask critical questions. That is one of the things that drove her teachers to madness, although we must be honest about her, at least I must be, and everyone must be, that is why I say we, is that she did pull pranks that were absolutely not funny. But she dares to ask critical questions. She dares to stand up against anyone who is evil in her point of view, and she even dares to stand up against her commanding officers. And perhaps that is the Slytherin kind of her. She is really open-minded in how to interpret her orders to do that what she has to do, but in the same time it also pleads for Gryffindor, as she is actually pretty open about it and doesn't care, and has the courage to motivate why she's doing it. So it may have been a kind of a borderline case between Slytherin or Gryffindor, but I think that in the end Gryffindor will suit her the best. And well, that's all, folks. If you want me to do more series, let me know. If you have anything to tell how it can be done better, well, just tell me, but please remember I am not blessed with a budget, so everything has to be as cheap as possible. That also explains why you don't see my face talking, and why the sound may be a little bit terrible at times. Hey, I have to improvise. But I'm doing the best I can, and I do this for fun anyway. And of course, as you can see, I am willing to judge my own work, as I do want to be critical and honest with myself, and, well, sorting my own characters into Hogwarts Houses could be a way to do this. Of course, if you have played the game yourself, then Perhaps you might have a different opinion, and then I am really curious about how you interpret. Skip that. Well, anyway, how you see my characters. Well, that's it. I see you another time.